Everybody, it's Miss K and welcome to Miss K going Postal. I hope your Thursday is going great. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope work wasn't a pain in the ass, and I hope you didn't cuss anybody out. That's what I hope. But real talk, I really don't. I hope you did. So anyway, yesterday, guys, I came to you because I had some shit I had to get off my chest, and it was just bothering me. And I was just like, I had to let that shit out. I had to let it out, and I've been to y'all. So today I actually come with some information that you can actually use, because I know yesterday was, it was not an informative video. It was a feeling video. But today we're going to be informative, okay? So I wanted to come to you guys because I had got a little piece of information I wanted to share with you in regards to what's actually going on Capitol Hill in regards to the stuff that's going on with the inefficiency of the Postal Service in this DeJoy 10-year Make the Postal Service Great Again plan. So you have a lot of senators who are actually stepping forward because they are displeased with what's going on. And they've actually tried to get in touch with DeJoy, and they wanted information in regards to the oversight of what's going on with the Postal Service. Remember, I spoke with you guys before about how there seems to be a lack of oversight in what's going on with the Postal Service. There's no accountability for why this isn't moving, why that isn't moving. And, we all understand there are growing pains when it comes to any type of change. There are going to be bumps in the road. You have to get over it. But it seems like every time we turn around, there is a bump in the road or a growing pain. And it's becoming a pain in the ass. So a lot of senators are like, hey, we want to know what time it is. So I have a little article here that I'm going to read a little bit of it for you guys to let you know what's going on. And this actually happened yesterday. So yesterday, one of these senators was coming from the Senate and was stopped and asked some questions and spoke about what he's trying to do. So this particular senator, his name is Gary Peters. He's a Democrat. He's from Michigan. And he was actually stating that he wants to call for a pause of the U.S. Postal Service reforms until officials can show that mail service won't be suffering. So in here, I'm going to read this part right here. It says, the top senator with direct oversight of the U.S. Postal Service is calling on its leadership to pause its overhaul for the agency's mailing network due to potential impacts that are having on the delivery, rejecting USPS assertions that it has provided transparency. We know they have not provided transparency. They're not. So this particular senator, Gary Peters, stated, I am increasingly concerned about the pace and impact of these changes and reiterate my request for fully responsive answers to my questions. Peters said, I also call on the USPS to pause all network changes until it can clearly demonstrate that such changes will not degrade local mail service. This will be a top oversight priority for this committee. So this committee that he's in, they're looking into the oversight of DeJoy's 10-year plan. Now, remember, the Postal Service is in the midst of its most significant makeover in operational structure in forever. So, of course, we expect there to be certain hiccups, right? We understand that you're trying to make the Postal Service more efficient and eliminate the deficits that the Postal Service carries from year to year. But there's a lot of questions that are not being answered. And there are a lot of things going on that cannot be accounted for. And particularly in a election year, y'all. With everything, every week we hear about some shit, some particular plant, some location. They can't get the mail out. It's backed up. It's to the ceiling. The trucks are out the door. And the post office just says, oh, well, hey. That's what they're saying. But you have constituents who are not getting their mail, not getting their prescriptions. They rely upon the Postal Service for, their checks or whatever. And they're tired. So what they're doing now is they're calling their local senators and going, hey, we ain't about this. What y'all gonna do? You want to get reelected? Then you need to make some moves. So these people now are lighting fires because their constituents are lighting a fire under their ass. And now they're going, well, no, we finna form a committee. Y'all. We got to find out what the fuck going on because this don't make no sense. And trust me, the majority of a lot of the constituents are senior citizens. AARP is a very strong lobbying group. Strong. And if old people don't get their drugs, it's a motherfucking problem. They rely on the Postal Service. They rely on their carriers every day. And when this shit is not coming the way it needs to come, phone calls being made. So now you got people asking DeJoy, show me the paperwork. Show me the paperwork. We need to see it. We need to see the paperwork. So now this particular senator, Gary Peters, he chairs the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. And he also sent a letter to DeJoy about agency leadership. And he asked for documents, staff level briefings to Congress. He said USPS ignored many of his requests for additional information on its efforts and left Congress uncertain about the fallout that could befall postal customers. Right? So you have people who are genuinely trying to get information and they're not getting it because DeJoy is not providing it. Why is that? Why is that? Because you feel you don't owe anybody an explanation. You feel you don't need to tell anybody shit. Here's my plan. Roll with it. I let y'all know what I let y'all know. That's his mentality. That seems to be the mentality that he has going on because the motherfucker is not trying to provide anything or even try to smooth over shit. If you watch him in some of his committee Senate hearings, in the meetings that he has, he's very, very cocky. Yeah, cocky motherfucker. And it's like, yeah, I said what I said. Who gonna check me? Now, I know what y'all saying. Miss K, they could just be doing this shit, this committee and calling out DeJoy and what they want because, of course, it's for show. Are they really going to get anything done? It's an election year, baby. You never know. But that's when you bring attention to shit. Remember, it's all politics or politics, however you want to call it. But if you make a big enough show, make a lot of noise, then you can get certain things that you want. Now, is this shit going to really work of them calling attention to DeJoy, asking DeJoy to provide shit? He's not the first senator who has sent a letter to DeJoy asking for transparency. He's not the first one. And mind you, I told y'all before, this is bipartisan. This is not just a Democratic thing. There are Democrats and Republicans and independents who have been sending and questioning DeJoy on what the fuck is going on. So don't just think it's a one-party thing. This is an across-the-aisle shit. People are getting concerned. People are tired. They're making phone calls, blowing up their senators. And when you start blowing up your senator, it lights a fire under their fucking ass to make them move. They want to know what's going on because if my constituents are concerned, they're not going to vote for me again, bro. So I need to tighten up, find out what's going on. And that is what's going on. Now, let me read some more of this. Peters called the matter urgent and requested a response by the USPS by April 1st. Among the requests that have gone unanswered, Peters previously wrote to DeJoy in last December and again this year in February. And he asked for detailed assignments of the network changes, impacts on service from a facility and nationwide basis, plans to study early impacts before moving forward, immediate and long-term timelines, cost estimates, and employee attrition calculations. Now, this is my thing. If you have a fucking 10-year plan and you got a playbook, you created a playbook, and you know what you're going to do, you're laying your plan out and you're moving forward, it should be no problem for a motherfucker to produce something. Okay, this is my timeline. This is, the budget. This is what I'm trying to do. Here, that, yada, yada, yada. Motherfuckers asked for it December and January. That's 4 months already. And you couldn't produce anything to anybody. Because once again, you don't give a fuck. You don't care. You don't give a shit. You're going to go to a committee meeting and you're going to whip out some paperwork with some numbers and say, this is what we're doing. This is what we've saved already. Yeah. They try to sweep it under the rug. But you can't sweep under the rug that you have these facilities with this new used ass equipment that can barely process anything. Shit to the rafters. Carriers aren't delivering, especially in rural areas. Rural areas are catching it right now. And those constituents out there in non-rural areas are not having it. They're the ones who are screaming the loudest. You're cutting delivery. You're cutting actually they've already started where mail will now sit overnight at the stations. Blue box, I'm sorry, y'all, collection is only gonna be done once a day. And if it ain't done, it's gonna sit there to the next day. Y'all already seen we don't do motherfucking next day no more. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So you got all this mail backing up. But then a lot of this mail is not getting to the facilities because some of us don't see it, or it's getting to the facilities and they're so backlogged because they've been backlogged for months before, they can't get this shit out. But you can't come up with a sufficient answer to questions that people are asking you. It doesn't make any sense. And it says here that Peters noted that the changes have drawn widespread bipartisan concerns. Several other lawmakers have complained about receiving insufficient feedback from postal management. Right? So the funny part is that with all this going on, you got delayed delivery of election mail. You got critical health information, laboratory tests. You know, that's what we're seeing. That shit's not being processed same day. Decreased transportation trips. You're literally moving some facilities to process mail in a whole nother fucking state. How do you expect that to work? But you know, the post office had a kickback for that. They had a kickback. This is what they said, y'all. The Postal Service has maintained the changes will allow the processing and transportation of mail to flow more logically while reducing costs and improving the employee experience. What fucking employee experience? I don't come here for the experience, bitch. I come here for the check. What experience are we getting? The experience of clusterfuckery? Because I don't know what experience we're getting. Yeah, I don't. But the post office did say it has acknowledged that mail delivery in some regions, right, have reached an unacceptable level of service and apologized for difficulties. Oh, you did? You apologize? Let me play the world's smallest violin for y'all, because that sounds like a motherfucking sob story. Why is it that DeJoy can simply smooth this shit over and play nice? And why don't he go to one of these facilities that's been on the news, Wichita, Houston, Atlanta, more to come? Go to one of these facilities, tour this bitch, stand outside this motherfucker, call the media and say, you know what? I came to see firsthand what's going on. The facilities, you know, we're doing all these changes. There's a lot going on, a lot of different parts moving, and we're having these issues and we're trying to work through these. And I came to see firsthand myself what's going on because I'm getting feedback saying that this is not happening, this is not happening. I want to see for myself. Has he done that? No. Because he don't give a fuck. Because when you control the strings and you the fucking puppet master, you don't give a fuck what somebody else say. It's my show, not yours. That's pretty much what he's telling y'all. That's what he's telling everybody. You give these half-ass media statements, but you don't physically go out and take a look at it. You don't physically go see why people are protesting, why people are holding town hall meetings. You send your minions to do it. And while this shit continues. But you don't care about that shit. He does not care about it. And all along, every day we're rolling through some new shit on our shoes, making the post office look inept. Is that by design? What do y'all think? Whatever. So, also what's going on too, that's also in this article. Remember I told you guys that Biden has 2 seats that he can nominate people to sit on the board. So he actually chose one person already. He nominated the former Labor Department Secretary Marty Walsh to serve on the board of governors, which must approve DeJoy's broad stroke plans. So his confirmation will give Biden his 6th nominee to sit on the board that has 9 presidentially appointed members and Senate confirmed slots. Walsh will be the 4th Democrat to sit on this board, and he will join 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Now, that's 1 seat. Biden still has another one that he can fill. Now, I don't know when he's going to do it. And of course, you know, you haven't heard nothing about it because that ain't shit you need to know. But he has 1 more seat, 1 more person he can nominate. Now, he can either do this in the summer. He can actually even do it after the elections in November because remember, Whoever is elected president, if it's not Biden, whoever else it is, they won't come into office until January of next year. So Biden can still make moves if he's aware of how to make them before the new president comes in. But the problem is that the post office is still functioning at a subpar level with or without the changes. And the fact of the matter is that there is nothing that's going to be done about it because DeJoy don't give a shit. And it's right here actually in the article. Let me read it for you before I close, y'all. It says DeJoy is unlikely to heed Senator Peters' request for a pause. Because remember, Senator Peters is requesting a pause in all this transformation going on because he wants to know for certain that the mail is being processed properly. Yeah, right. And it says that as he has repeatedly spoken to the urgency of his efforts and called on lawmakers, regulators, and stakeholders. Because remember, there's stakeholders in the Postal Service. Baby, that's a whole different conversation. Not to interfere with them. The Postal Service is in the process of standing up hundreds of new sorting and delivery centers and more of its regional mega centers. So the representative for the post office says there's no plans to pause the network investments and modernization efforts. Doing so, he said, would negatively impact employees at cost, slow construction, harm performance, and roll back new product offerings and damage the environment. What new product offerings? All you doing is raising a stamp every goddamn year. You're building new buildings. Sometimes you're not, because sometimes you're overtaking existing buildings and you're revamping them. Okay, but you're spending money on that. It's going to harm employees. Harm it how? We're already being harmed. Either we don't have any work or we're fucking overworked. There is no middle. So, we shall see what's going to go on with Senator Peters and a couple of other lawmakers who are requesting, who are calling out, who are holding committee meetings about the progress of the Postal Service. I told you guys, when people get tired of shit and they start voicing their opinions, no matter how small it is, somebody gonna hear it. Especially in an election year where people want to keep their positions. So we're gonna be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for Biden's new nominee. You're not gonna hear about the news, so you're gonna have to do research on it, honey, because they're not gonna give that information out. We can keep up with what Senator Peters and this subcommittee is going to do in holding DeJoy's feet over the fire. But I don't even think nothing's going to occur out of that because DeJoy doesn't give a fuck. His plans are his plans, and he honestly ain't really sharing shit. And the fact of the matter that he has not come out to publicly state or smooth over what's going on right now across the country with the Postal Service, and the fact that our delivery service is trash. It's trash. Means what? He don't give a fuck. He could care less. Because whatever is planned for the post office is planned. Whatever deals he made, they've been made. But we'll see what happens, y'all. So, just give y'all the information. Wanted y'all to be on the know. Because you know, Miss K, I got to come give y'all something that y'all can do. What? Use to put in your motherfucking toolbox, right? Right. So, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If this today's your NS, enjoy it, babies. Because it ain't Miss K's. And always remember my postal freaks. Love and light. Peace.